Hey, Mike Callahan here with Callahan's Corner. We have some questions. We answer them live right here on Facebook. Had a user submitted question regarding the Simple Growth Masterminds and how we're going out and talking about building strategy and putting it to action this coming season for your lawn or landscape company or for any business for that reason. But I wanted to dive in and kind of get into some of the methodology that we currently put together in the Simple Growth Masterminds. I'm going to be talking about strategy and how that plays into that. So in usual fashion, I'm going to open up the screen with some visual aids just to put some concept to this. But really, regardless of the size of your organization, strategy is often misunderstood and rarely done well. When we take this time to define what's going well, we can really develop a plan inside our business and make adjustments as we need to reach our destination. So that's kind of what we're getting down to here. But we really want to be able to leverage our organizational strengths to gain an outsized return. This will make a whole hell of a lot more sense once I dive into this. But I want to go in here and pop the screen open and kind of show you what we're diving into here. And first of all, I want to kind of give a quick idea here of what we're looking at. So this is the elite methodology that we teach in the Simple Growth Masterminds and Coaching Division. But before we go in, we want to take a look at this Everest analogy. And on the left, we've got our long-term strategic process. So we need to go in and create some kind of meeting rhythm. And I'm going to show you an example of what this can look like, how you can hold your team to a cadence. But on the left, this is our strategies, annual, quarterly, and SMART goals. This is our strategic progress. A lot of businesses, especially in the lawn care and landscape industry, do not focus on this. At best, maybe they're focusing on the right-hand side of operational excellence. But really, a lot of times they're just going out and doing the work and hoping there's money in the bank. Very similar, like Michael Gerber said, a lot of us business owners are entrepreneurs business owners on an entrepreneurial seizure. Basically, at best, we are really well-built technicians. We mow grass, we cut lawns, we trim bushes, we do great design projects, but no one has really told us how to actually build this in. And probably about 9 or 10 years ago, I had to go out and invest heavily in an education to go out and outlearn my competition and grow. And I want to share some of my takeaways from that because after 5 years of business school through college, none of this was actually taught or shown how to execute in the real world. So in the mindset of abundance, I want to kind of lift the hood a little bit here of what we're looking at. So on a high level, we really want to get our team together and set the vision. We're going to go into our enduring purpose, our values, which we're going to hire, fire, and train by, and our mission. That mission is not the normal typical mission that you're thinking of, but that's really, as Jim Collins says in his book, it is our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal. Where are we going in 3 to 5 years? And we're going to spell that out clearly and get the team bought in on the clear trajectory. But what we're going to do is take a look at the actual strategy portion of this and how do we put that into play. So as we're diving in, right from the Keep playbook or the Elite playbook as certified partners. This is some of the methodology that we've paid to either acquire or have been taught as a partner. But the idea is the strategic methodology is very similar to that Everest analogy. We're setting the vision and we're going in and really setting that purpose, why we exist. We're going to go into 5 core values that you should be able to recite. 5 to 10, I'm going to suggest keeping it on the lower side so they're near, dear, and heart to your heart, but that is your guiding principle. We're going to hire, train, and hire, fire to those core principles. If anybody's in direct disagreement with those, that is going to be a conflict of where we're at. Below that, we've got our mission or our BHAG, that big, hairy, audacious goal, 3 to 5 years. If you're running a lawn care company, I'm suggesting that we really dial that into 3 specific years of goals. In the Everest example that I showed you earlier, it's base camp, year 1, 2, and 3. We've hit the summit. But what we're going to do is create strategies to leverage and strategies developed. And what I mean by that is we're going to go through a process called a SWOT plus. We've added the plus on. That's a special sauce there. But what we're going to do is go through a methodology every quarter and annually to go in and drive the things that we are doing well. So what are the strengths our organization are currently doing really well? Maybe we have a really great landscape maintenance program that provides great value, great curb appeal at a reasonable price. And we're gaining market share and route density. That could be a strength to leverage. Strength to develop could be maybe we've just gotten a fertilization weed control and our service itself is not that great. Maybe the pre-emergent's great, but the post-emergent services are not being effective. Maybe it's the application rate. Maybe it's the rookie technician, whatever that is, but we may have some strengths to develop. We're going to go through our whole entire organization from top to bottom, right from management, sales, office process and field processes, maybe even equipment, and look at these strengths to leverage and develop. And then we're going to go in over to the right here and start planning and driving annual priorities with a 2-day meeting. We're going to look at some of these things called quarterly priorities, which is going to be a one-day meeting, and our smarts monthly evaluation, which would be a half-day meeting. But the annual quarterly planning exercise is what we've been facilitating with companies over 1 million beyond in our live masterminds events and on site in their offices. But what we do is really dive in and get the team, not just the owner, to dive in and look at the accomplishments, the lessons we've learned, the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats, and any of the strategic issues. So going into this year, I can't think of a better exercise that your business should be going through because there is a lot of opportunities and threats and strategic issues that are coming up this year. But very similarly, we did in my company in 2008. Going through this process, we were able to take a look at the pending recession and be able to double down and focus that as an opportunity and go in and double down on our strengths to leverage, and through some quarter and annual priorities, develop some strengths that needed to be developed. And finally, we're going to talk about in the bottom right-hand corner, measurement. How do we create clear KPIs and a cadence? So a great example is P for P or piece rate. We're going to have a company dashboard, budget versus actual quality score. And we're going to have a weekly leadership meeting as well around these metrics. We're also going to have department dashboards that are publicly displayed and shown. A great example of this is at our shop tour that we did at Garrett Matthews Tree and Pest in Shreveport, Louisiana, as well as Della Casa down in Mooresville, North Carolina. As we toured these shops, we were able to see lifetime data on TVs throughout the organization that had departmental dashboards and company dashboards. And then finally, we're going to drive down into a methodology called a Big Three, right down to your technicians in the field. You may ask, Mike, how can we create measurements and accountability for our field staff? But this is the key. When we hire A players want to know if they're winning or losing. It's the equivalent of going to a sports game with no scoreboard. So what we do is we drive down in the final part of this process and create an individual accountability to a Big Three. You may ask, what could be a Big Three if we had to track only 3 things or 3 levers for a crew for landscape maintenance? An example that I would be looking at is budget versus actual, a quality score, and probably pre and post trip equipment observation or maintenance to make sure we're not blowing engines, the brakes are working, the equipment's tied down, and anything that needs to be maintained is taken care of. And included in that would be post-trip or post-day cleaning out of the truck. So all the garbage and the things that may end up in that truck throughout the day are removed, and there's accountability. But once we're getting in really as a company dashboard that we're going to track weekly as a meeting, leadership team, departmental dashboards that are public, and individual accountability, including crew accountability that's public. That's going to be the secret to that we're looking at here, folks. We're going to go in really quickly, go in and set the purpose, the values, the mission. That's going to get us really clear. We're going to go through the process we just looked at here for our annual planning over here. We're going to drive that through our strategic processes of annual priorities, quarterly, and SMART goals. And then we're going to organize the work and build the team. So this is where people own the actual metrics here and get it done through our quarterly planning process. And that's going to go out and allow you to drive and double down on your team and its output and grow and outlearn the competition, or literally outdevelop the competition. The final thing I want to show you here is what does this look like on a weekly or yearly basis. Great book, Scalable, Ryan Deiss. Ryan, in one of his free downloads here, goes in and breaks this down. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it if you're watching live on Facebook. But the idea here is it's color-coded for quarterly, sprint planning, monthly business review, all hands meeting. That's a company meeting. And our weekly pulse. That'd be our weekly leadership meeting. And we put holidays in here. So in Ryan's book, Scalable, he goes in and has a free resource here where we can actually go in and plan out our yearly calendar for all of our planning. So if you haven't set a cadence of your planning to adhere to your annual priorities, quarterly priorities, and smarts, and driving into your short-term excellence in this methodology, I highly recommend taking a few minutes, go off-site, rent a hotel room, boardroom, even go to Panera and throw some headphones on, frame this out, bring in your team, and involve them. This is going to move the needle for you on a massive level. This is something we've been doing at my lawn care company, Callahan's, SimpleGrowth, and now Simple Estimate. What measured gets done, and we need to have public accountability where we're going to go in now and align our culture with productivity and drive for results and allow our leadership team and our team members to have ownership of the metrics that drive great customer service and profitability. If you're interested in learning more, if you would qualify for SimpleGrowth Masterminds or a one-on-one coaching division or facilitation of these quarterly and annual plannings, check us out at sgscall.com. Drop a call or drop a booking in there. We're happy to talk. Callahan's Corner, you ask the questions. We answer them live right here on Facebook.